Holiday magic is in the air, and DSW's got all the shoes to make your season extra merry. Believe, you've got parties to attend and lists to check twice, so DSW is taking care of the details, like gifts to make their eyes all aglow, styles that bring joy to your world, brands everyone wants, like UGG, Nike, Birkenstock, and more, and deals to make your budget bright. Find the perfect shoes for you and yours at a DSW store near you or dsw.com.
We wanted to kill the clock, but we sprung a big run. He should have scored instead of letting Juice get the touchdown, but we scored and put the game away.
That they did. The San Francisco 49ers, with Deebo Samuel, who you just heard, take care of business in Seattle. A 36-24 win over the rival Seahawks, getting the Niners back on the winning track after last Sunday's deeply disappointing loss to the Cardinals. Meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks have gone from 3-0 to 3-3. Man, Ferris Bueller, he keeps popping up in my brain now. Change comes at you fast. Blink and you. What was the phrase? James Palmer jumping in for Mark Sessler tonight. What was the old Ferris Bueller line?
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
I
says it multiple times. I had it. Yeah, it's a top fiver for me. We watch it the first day of school for my kids every time. We watch it the first day. I
love that.
Hey, here's a day about skipping school. Time to start the school year.
Dan Hanzus here. Heed the call with James Palmer. Underdog Bros at it.
Right.
Sessdog, by the way, it's his birthday. We'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah.
So he texted me and he was like, "Hey, FYI, it's my birthday." And I didn't really know why he said that, but then I was like, "Oh, he wants me to say, hey, don't worry about Thursday night," which I was happy to do. And James Palmer was ready to roll, tapped like ready to go like a closer, but not a Phillies closer. That's too soon.
Oh, dude.
That's too soon. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Like my closer days. How about that? Fireman of the year, 2 years in a row. Philadelphia area, best closer in the city. Let's go.
I like that. I did not know that.
I could have used me,
anyway,
I think, honestly.
The Niners get 3 touchdown passes from Brock Purdy. They get a big Deebo Samuel play, which has been in short supply this season. They get a clinching run by Isaac Guerendo, who, and I tweeted about this, and James, you mentioned it before we started. I don't know because, the nerds, the analytics nerds, at some point got it in somebody's ear that, slide down at the 1 yard line because you have a .0004 better chance to win. Can somebody give Isaac Guerendo his flowers in primetime of an NFL game? He goes down, and to compound things, they let Juszczyk, the fullback, score so he could jump in the stands with his wife. What is this? What are we doing?
I think this was a marketing ploy. This was to get Mrs. Juszczyk's marketing abilities to just kind of rise the ladder a little bit. Those custom threads she makes for everybody from Taylor Swift on down. Just more FaceTime now on a Thursday night that we do that.
James,
I don't know.
James, I'm looking at the box score. It's even worse. Guerendo, 10 for 99.
Oh,
he goes one more yard. He doesn't go full selfless. It's 10 for 101. One of the greatest stat lines in the history of the sport. Instead, he settles for 10 for 99 and the 76-yard run that really, I thought, as we get into the game in a real way now, James, like the Seahawks had a bad night in so many ways, but they still had a pulse. They had the timeouts, and they just had to get off the field. And for the third string running back to go through a giant hole in the offensive line and then take it 76 yards to the goal line, I mean, it was just the final nail of kind of incompetence from the Seattle Seahawks in their building. And what was really like, if I'm a Seahawks fan, the type of game that makes me wonder what we got cooking for real.
Yeah, I see two things out of this game, Dan. Like, their fight has been there. You saw it against the Lions. You see it in this game. Like, they're like Mike McDonald's doing something right to kind of get that group going. But there's also the other side of the coin where you're going, there seems to be a lot of mistakes. Like, there seems to be a lot of pre-snap mistakes. There seems to be a lot of issues that are going on in terms of sloppiness. So you're like, okay, I like this part of a young head coach. They're getting after it. Maybe that's also part of what happened on that run. I mean, the linebackers are just crashing down, going like, we got to stop this quick. We got no time left, and bam, they get to the next level, and he's gone. I just think, you see the good and the bad of a young new head coach with what's going on with the Seahawks right now.
Yeah, so giving up the Garendo run was the end of it for this game. But, I thought in general, San Francisco was the recipient of Seattle continuously shooting itself in the foot. Geno Smith, I know his stats ended up in a good place, but he had 2 turnovers in this game. The first one early on short-circuited the opening drive and led to points for San Francisco on an overthrow, ill-advised pass with pressure coming. The second was another bad interception that set up the George Kittle touchdown that gave San Francisco a 2-score lead. But then you have other plays. You have that illegal shift on Kenneth Walker that negated a 70-yard DK Metcalf touchdown that would have made it a 1-score game late in the game. Later in that same drive, Geno misses Kenneth Walker by himself, who got lost down the right sideline for what it would have been a back pocket TD. And they did ultimately score on that drive with Lockett, but enough time ticked off the clock where it put them almost in an impossible situation. So it's just like those type of mistakes are the things that you cannot make those mistakes. And knowing that you had a 49ers team that did not have Christian McCaffrey, that loses Jordan Mason in this game at the end of the second quarter. I think he played 1 snap in the third quarter and then exited. And knowing that you don't want to lose at home to your division rival, and yet you don't bring your A game. I give credit to San Francisco for getting back in the win column, but the Seattle performance is eye-opening, and now I kind of have my my antenna up with them a little bit. I got to be honest.
Yeah, put the antenna.
I always
up.
am.
Do you want Geno Smith throwing 52 balls? Like, is that your recipe for success? I know you have 3, I think, pretty good receivers. It's a good core. You don't need 52 balls from Geno Smith, and multiple turnovers is not how you're going to win games the way that they want to win games. Kenneth Walker runs the ball for 32 yards. It looked like last week it was like, okay, here he comes back. But yeah, that's not a recipe for success and what you're trying to do as an offense at all. I'd like to focus, we'll get to it, right, Dan? Like, the other quarterback is showing me everything that Geno's not after this game, and he just keeps building it. And that's Brock Purdy has been outstanding. I thought of this and thought about what we were like while I'm watching the game, what we're going to talk about, and go, like, when is the day going to be where it's like, whoa, Brock Purdy's like carrying this thing? Like, when does that day come that people start saying that, as opposed to, all of the comments since he became the starter, that the team is carrying Brock Purdy?
It's a good question. And if you're actually watching these games, because if you look at the stat line, you're saying, oh, look, Purdy's not having a nice year. Coincidentally, it's when the Offensive Player of the Year is in Germany getting his Achilles stretched out. But if you're actually watching the games, what'd you say?
He's getting both of them stretched out.
Oh, he's getting them both stretched
Achilles.
out?
Yeah, he's got Achilles issue in both legs.
Oh, that's not good. But if you've been watching the games, he has played really well all season, I thought. And one thing that has jumped out to me throughout this year is his pocket maneuverability and how comfortable he is. He's like the anti Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is the guy that is always eyes down. Brock Purdy's always eyes up, and he's fearless for a guy who's not like an imposing player. He's listed as 6'1", 220. That seems generous. But he does. He has a great skill set combination that he's able to extend plays, and he puts himself in harm's way seemingly. But he's very good about not taking a kill shot and finding a way to protect himself while also extending the play. It's a rare trait to have, and it's a big part, I think, what makes him a top 10 quarterback. And I don't know if I would have said that before this season, but this is the first year where I'm like, even though his numbers aren't as good as they've been in past years after this amount of games, he just feels like he's developing, and maybe it's taken some of these other players coming off the field for a challenge for him to raise his game on his own. But I agree with you. I know it hasn't been an overly smooth start for the Niners, but the quarterback is the last issue they've had.
I completely agree. And I remember Kyle Juszczyk telling me this. He was like, because I was like, why is Brock like always seem to be just a little bit faster than everybody thinks he is on the field? Because that seems to be the perception, right? Like he's not blowing anybody away, but somehow he always finds a way to get away in some capacity. And he was like, I'll tell you why it looks that way, because he runs with such a mental aspect to running. And I was like, what? And only says that the super smart Kyle Juszczyk can think of it in this frame of mind. He's like, he's so smart in where he knows he wants to go. He's already decided where he wants to go 3 steps before he started going there. So like, if that makes sense, his decision making on where he wants to go on the field is very, very quick. And he has his angles down very, 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 very quick. And so he has this ability to just kind of have an appearance to be faster than he actually is because of the mental way he sees the game. And I think we're seeing him kind of rely on that, as some of these things haven't gone entirely all that smooth for the Niners throughout this season so far. And you're seeing the way he's bought time, the way he's moved in the pocket, the way he's scrambled. He had a number of them in this game to where he saw something, climbed the pocket, got in the middle. You're right. He is the anti-Deshaun Watson. I was just talking to a DC yesterday. It was like, I'm watching this Deshaun Watson film, and it's like, as soon as it breaks down, he gets so antsy, like forgets how to play quarterback. And it's like the exact opposite for Brock Purdy. And it's been really, really kind of fun to watch. You want to see the best players in this game play, right, Dan? Like, you want to see this talented roster out there. But what we're seeing from Brock Purdy is like, well, no, like, I'm going to bias. This is the way it feels. I'm going to bias time until these guys can get healthy. And if we're going to keep going through this, I'm going to try to carry us till the second half of the year, when hopefully we have a Christian McCaffrey back. And the red zone issues, though, are ones that we should kind of keep an eye on with San Francisco. I know McCaffrey changes that big time, but that is a bit of an issue with San Francisco that's been going on.
Yeah, and George Kittle's playing at a very high level again and making plays, as you saw today. But another strange, quiet game from Brandon Ayuk. I just can't figure that guy out this year. But overall, the Niners are in a good place offensively. Not a perfect machine, but yes, Purdy's got the thing under control. Let's take a break here, and we'll cover the very strange special teams gaffe by the NFL replay team right after this. Fall's here, so it's time to step up your wardrobe. The best way to do that is to shop True Classic Styles, the best way to shop online, because True Classic clothes actually fit. Not too big, not too tight. These shirts accentuate your best features with a perfect fit, snug in the arms and chest, with just the right amount of room in the midsection, and that are versatile enough for everything I have going on this fall, which is a lot. I'm so busy, so important. We're talking premium clothes with a tailored fit at an affordable price, and not just t-shirts. Everything you need. Waffle hoodies, jeans, some long-sleeve Henleys, button-ups, and more. Plus activewear, too. With moisture-wicking material, it dries quickly, and it has odor control. True Classic comes with 100% perfect fit guarantee and easy returns. That means if you don't like what you order, which seems very unlikely considering True Classic is trusted by over 4 million customers with more than 200,000 reviews to back that up, you can send it back with no hassle. Like I said, fall is here, so it's time to step up your game. Right now, you can unlock big savings when you bundle packs. Just go to our exclusive link at trueclassic.com/HTC to save. That's trueclassic.com/HTC. Shop now and elevate your wardrobe today. It's October. At Underdog, we call it Boost-tober, because every single day, Underdog is dropping a different promo all month long. Check your app on a daily basis, because trust me, you do not want to miss out on these specials. Just download the Underdog app, sign up with the code HTC, that's us, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit for our U.S. audience only. All right, welcome back. So the second half, by the way, this game looked like it was going to be a total blowout, but San Francisco is good at keeping things interesting in the second half. So 4 days after they blew it. Yeah, 4 days after they blew a 23-10 halftime lead in losing to Arizona, the Seattle Seahawks begin a comeback that starts with Laviska Shenault's 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown after the Niners punted. Geno Smith leads Seattle on a 94-yard drive. Kenneth Walker goes in. All of a sudden, it's 23-17 at the end of the third quarter, and you're like, oh, my goodness. It was around this time when there is a play that happens that I'm just trying to figure out how – I don't know. So – here's the play. So the Niners punt it to Seattle. Seattle returner D. Williams gets pushed. One of his blockers gets pushed into him, which is allowed. That's legal. And the ball clearly, upon if you looked at the Amazon replays, goes off Williams' fingers, and it is recovered by San Francisco. And it should have been Niners ball at the Seattle 18. However. Officials initially throw a flag on the Niners receiver Chris Conley for punt catch interference. They pick that up, and then there's a challenge because obviously the Niners say, "Hey, that was a muff. That was off his finger."
Yeah.
But I'll let Terry McCauley of the Prime team, the officiating and analyst, explain how this didn't end up with San Francisco having the football.
Yeah, Al, I spoke with Walt Anderson in the command center in New York, and what they're telling me, they did not get our enhanced video that we showed the ball touching the finger. What they had was the raw feed from our cameras, and it was not clear and obvious to them that it touched the finger.
Al. So it cost San Francisco a timeout when they rightly challenged a play that did not get overturned. And Seattle ended up punting on the drive, but it still cost the Niners 70 yards of field position and maybe a put-away score. I don't know how that happens, James, but it's obviously very frustrating. How does that crew in New York not get the same angles and camera shots that the audience gets? It seems counterintuitive.
Yeah. I think it's always great when it's always like all of us that are home like, Look at this great angle. I don't know what TV you have, Dan. Mine was crushing it up here in the mountains,
nice.
And it was just like boing, and you just see the finger move.
It's
and you're
very
like,
clear.
Oh man, this 4K stuff, this HD, let's go. And you're like, wait till they overturn this, and like, what? And then nobody knew anything until Terry came on. Like, what was the time period? It was another 20 minutes later, maybe, real time, that we find that out. And my thought on it is this. This needs to be fixed. I'm glad this happened in week 6. And maybe that pushes to make sure that this doesn't happen in any game, because this is a massive gaffe. If the game turned out differently, and you're right, they didn't end up punting, and something ended up happening adversely, this is going to be talked about even further, but it needs to be talked about in terms of you can't have this happen. It's embarrassing for a billion-dollar organization like the NFL. The amount of money, I mean, I've covered a number of Thursday night games. There's more people there on a Thursday night than like Sunday night football. Like their truck has a truck. Like, you know what I mean? Like the broadcast truck has another truck. There's a backup truck. There's like so many redundancies that I've been told within the Amazon broadcast to make sure that no mistakes happen. It's astounding the number of people that are there.
But Amazon,
so
and Amazon didn't make
obvious.
Amazon did have it, and it's the fact that somehow there's not that. All right, so we got 2 rule changes in the last few weeks. We got to make sure we somehow. I don't know why we have to tell them this, but New York needs to have the same angles that the TV audience has, and there's also that after a safety, let's close that loophole where you could somehow like punt the ball and then the other team gets it back in their own from the point of the punt. That one was a sloppy one too. Let's just clean a couple things up.
So like, it's funny because I have a couple of really good buddies that are TDs or EVS operators in the NFL. I wonder if my boy like Bezu is sitting there going like, check this out for the home broadcast. Let me zoom in on this. I know when we work my magic. No, we're not going to show the officials, but everybody at home is going to really see this finger, and he's just crushing the EVS and just. I'm picturing like the truck. Everybody in the truck. I'm like, yeah, we got this. Where's the disconnect? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Are they watching like the video? Remember that movie? And is it Enemy of the State with Gene Hackman and Will Smith? Is that the name of the movie?
Yeah, I remember that one.
That movie was very good at showing like, well, just enhance it. And then all of a sudden it becomes crystal clear when you enhance it like a million times.
Right. And that was like 1996.
Yeah. I mean, apparently we can do it now.
Like 30
and we're
years
not
since
showing
then,
anybody.
we should the level of the camera quality. We should never make these mistakes.
Yeah.
By the way, so Seattle now is on, as we said, a 3-game losing streak after starting the season with 3 wins. It was a pretty soft opening where you got.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got the Broncos rookie QB in his first start on the road. You got a Patriots team. Obviously, you got the Dolphins. Was that the game Tua got hurt? Mm-hmm. And then now you've lost to the Lions, Giants, and 49ers. So now you're at Falcons, home Bills, home Rams, right, as they're getting more healthy, and then at Niners. So gut check time for Seattle. I have a couple more things before we say goodbye, James. And thank you again for
I like a couple more things.
Pinch hitting.
Yeah.
First of all, where do you stand? I mentioned the Laviska Shenault touchdown that made this game interesting again. The kickoff return. Where do you stand on mascots joining the player touchdown celebrations?
I'm all for
the
it.
players are all celebrating in the back of the end zone after a huge score. And then the mascot, and I know that's where his area is, but him jumping in there, and then you could I feel it like the player that he grabs is always kind of like, okay, cool. Like, do you think the mascot is out of bounds? Is he overstepping by joining the celebration?
No, I don't. And I'm going to tell you why. You're speaking to a former mascot, Dan. So I'm always
Why am I not surprised?
I'm always going to be
James Palmer being a former mascot is like definitely on my bingo card. I just have to say.
Was I SpongeBob SquarePants at Hooters? Yes. Kids eat free on Tuesday nights. Did that lead me into
people take kids to Hooters?
That's what their thought was. The place was empty. It was more or less me messing with a bunch of drunks. There's I don't know if anybody knows this, but we're off the reservation here. Guys,
yeah.
There's a lot of gentlemen that treat their local Hooters like a local strip club. And they are regulars, and they are there in the same stool. And they buy the girls presents, and they do all this stuff. Yet none of the girls wear their real names on their name tags. They would never make that mistake with these guys hanging around. And I would just mess with these guys. They're all hammered. I'd steal their car keys as SpongeBob, run away with their keys, run away with their cell phone. Just mess with these guys because there's no kids eating there on a kids eat free Tuesday night. Dad's like, honey, I got the kids tonight, and I'm going to save us $1. Where are you going? Hooters. you watch the dog.
Who are the ad wizards who came up with that one? Getting the sponge and who's protecting SpongeBob's IP that he's connected to this? I mean, Hooters.
This was a Nickelodeon sanctioned suit.
But
it was outstanding. It was phenomenal. But that led to a stint for a year as the backup Philly fanatic. So I have some big time.
Well, hello.
A little bit of big
the
time.
mascot.
He is the mascot. Never did a game. They didn't trust me with that, but I did a lot of school closings in Philadelphia. Those definitely, I attended many of those. But there's some mascots in this league, I think, that are worthy of it. I think Blue in Indianapolis comes to mind. A lot of times it's the guy in the suit. Oh my God, did I just say that? Did I ruin it for everybody? There's humans inside these things? You're not supposed to say that.
We'll edit. We'll take that out in post.
Okay. But if their personal relationship,
what is this like? Is that like a magician's code for the mascot?
Yeah, dude.
Community?
I was the friend of I was a fanatic's best friend. That's what you call yourself. But some of these guys, I'm not gonna lie, they have a relationship with guys on the team. They're around all the time, and they're boys with some of these guys. If it's a younger guy in the suit, they're friends with these guys. So it varies by team, I would say. But if the guy doesn't want the mascot to be around and it's very awkward, that's not good for the look of the organization. But you have to think about this. I got a lot on this. The mascot is essentially the super fan, right? What fan would not want to be part of the celebration? Every major fan of every team would want to be like, oh my God, I'm in the end zone.
But that's not my question,
the
James. My question is,
do
the players want him there?
Oh, do the players? Yeah, I don't think they care one way or another. These guys are so jacked after a touchdown. I don't think they care who's near them to celebrate with.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Okay, good. So maybe I'm reading into it too much. Yes, Justin.
Just wanted to check in, Dan. Was that where you thought that conversation was going to go when you asked that question?
No, but now that I learned
I didn't know that
James
was going to get asked either.
Now that I know that, and we have a lot of overseas listeners, James, they might not know who the Philly Fanatic is, but he is the
Hall of Famer,
famous
mascot
green
of
mascot.
sports. Yes.
Yes. Yes, I think he's at the top of the food chain. He's the mascot of the Philadelphia
Designed by Jim Henson,
Phillies
no big deal.
Major League Baseball team. So the fact that you were the understudy, that's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. But, better if you actually were the mascot, but I guess
there's only been two of them.
fine.
Yeah, there's only been two. One guy, Dave Raymond, from 77 to 94.
You're giving away the
Tom Burgoyne
secrets
from
again.
94 to now. Listen, we can cut all this.
Magician's
but I just
code,
had to get
bro.
It off my chest. I wanted to get in that.
You never
suit
want to
somehow.
tell that the how they do that. You don't want them to know like how it really works, dude. You gotta.
These creatures should be
finally
living amongst
shout out. Let's head to the Kicker Club before we sign off.
Oh,
Let's head to the Kicker Club because I got some ice packs ready. I got a bottle of champagne and some ice packs, and I got some friends, companions that can sit with him. I don't know where they got this Michael Wright guy filling in
Tampa,
for Jake
actually.
Moody.
he's living in
Okay,
Tampa.
the man, he looks like an
I think
accountant.
he's called him Michael Wright too. His name's Matthew Wright.
He also, it's Michael Wright? Matthew Wright?
Matty Wright. Matty Wright. Yeah.
Matty Wright. This guy, and to his credit, he hits 3 field goals, and good for him. But he's like reaching like the 15-yard line with some of the kickoffs, and I'm like, wow. I mean, there was nobody else available. But that's not my point. He did his job. But to get absolutely pile driven on the last kickoff of the game, and to have this like great night and then end going to the locker room early because you tried to make an aggressive tackle in garbage time. It's like, Matty, come take a seat in one of our plush booths. Have a drink, ice up, bro.
100%. Matty, you just got the job. Don't lose it. Like, you've been sitting at home on the couch.
He looked, you know what he looked? He looked f***ed up. He looked like a guy that just probably his shoulder exploded out of the socket, and it's like
They were working on him on
right.
the sideline.
I mean, we'll see a training camp when we need a body next August. It's like, Matty, what are we doing, bro?
I thought they zoomed in on Kyle Shanahan's face, and I didn't want to read lips, but I thought he was almost like, do we need another kicker? Like, into the headset.
Yeah, Matty.
Do we need another kicker?
By the way, Moody has a high ankle sprain. Like,
You could have melted this for a few weeks.
He's not coming back anytime soon. Like, Matty, what are we doing, bro?
Yeah.
What are we doing? I hope you're okay. But, yeah, drinks are on us at the Kicker Club. All right. I think that about covers it.
I think Matty and his brother Michael should have made a different decision on that kickoff.
I know. That's a bad job by me. Matthew Wright. Remember, the Week 6 preview is live with me, Mark, Michael Sean Dugar, and Jordan Rodriguez. Check that out. Up on the Patreon when you wake up in the morning. Maybe you've already woken up in the morning, in which case go to patreon.com/heedthecall, and you'll find the draft for Week 6 there, where we pick all the games that we're going to cover on Sunday, where you could find the flagship program where we recap every game played on Sunday. Anything else, Justin?
Yeah, you mentioned something off the top about it being Mark's birthday, and we'll come back to that later, and then we haven't come back to that later, so I was just wondering if you're going to leave that.
Yeah, you guys seem
consent
really
open
tight.
or what.
Good producing. Yes. Matthew Sessler. No, Mark Sessler. I love that man, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy you got to spend the night with James here and do our recap. I'm very happy to be able to give Mark that. It's like that when you think you have work and then you find out you don't, and then the whole night opens up. Being able to give Mark that tonight, like that's a birthday gift. But we love Mark Sessler. He is a special person and a good man.
Very much so. Tremendous.
And a good friend. And I mentioned I made a wrestling analogy on the Thursday show. But there is a wrestling saying that if you could go, through your whole career and go through that career and end it with one real friend, one true friend, you've been successful. For me, that's the Cess Dog. He's a ride or die guy, and I hope he's having a great night, another Hollywood night for Mark Sessler. So happy birthday, buddy.
Agreed.
However old you are.
Happy birthday.
Which is,
yeah,
it's getting up there. But we're just, we might be getting to the point where we have to fudge it for demographic reasons, Justin.
I was going to ask the reason why. I see it.
Because Mark is an ageless vampire, so he doesn't actually have. I don't know what his age is.
I see that.
He's going to be like John Sterling or name the celebrity where certain celebrities, it's like date of birth and it's like a year, but then it's approximate. There's like in captions and parentheticals, like approx. Like that's what we're going to go for Mark.
I think Mark deserves that because I've always wanted that. Whenever a celebrity dies, I always go to Wikipedia and I want to see the select few that it's like 1946 or 1947. I'm like, they don't know? This guy's awesome.
Let's do this, rules. Justin, for our PR materials, because we want to be getting that demographic for advertising. Put Mark approx 1986.
Yeah.
For date of birth.
I think that's perfect.
And maybe people won't ask any questions.
Yeah. Around this date.
Good. James, thank you very much for your help.
No problem, guys. No problem. I'm stoked.
And,
can I say
get a plug in, James?
I'll get a plug in. I'm going to it's not a plug. I'm going to a game this weekend. And I go to a game every weekend. I'm pretty stoked to go to this one. I'm going to Commanders-Ravens this weekend.
That's the game. That's the game to be at.
It's the game. Yeah. So I'm pretty pumped to go to that one.
So you go? Are you going there in a reporting capacity? Like, what are you doing there? What's Palmer doing there?
I just like hang out. Yeah, I just like I don't report on anything. No, we go. We gather information pregame. We gather information postgame.
Is this Royal We? What is this? Are you with a crew or is it just Palmer solo?
It is the Royal We. It is Palmer solo. It is what can James gather? Like last week, it was. Hey, a lot of Devontae stuff going on. Let's go do Raiders-Broncos. And we were there to witness, Bo versus Sean on the sideline. Ferris Bueller himself. Take this show full circle. Right back to the start. So, yeah, pick a game.
All right, good. So, get some good scoopage at that game and enjoy yourself. And everybody, thank you for listening. As always, until next time, do what you must. Heed the call.